Ladies and gentlemen, the EE PowerTalk, episode 67. My name is Daddy Blessing.
My name is Elvis. Welcome to episode 67.
Yeah, in this particular episode, we are talking about something that it's not well spoken about, especially in our agenda, something called self-care.
Mm-hmm.
And self-care, most of the time, we see it, or by definition of the society, we see it mostly in ladies when they go do something like manicure, pedicure, and all that. So the label itself of self-care has been, how do we say when something has been associated with female gender so much?
Meshenyenta.
Meshenyenta is I didn't see you pulling that card from 0 to 100 real quick. Meshenyenta ndugu yangu.
Meshenyenta.
So now when something, is it called being effeminate or something?
Yeah, I think when a man starts talking about self-care, it's termed like a new mama.
Thank you.
Let me just call it new mama.
Mama.
Have you ever seen these guys on TikTok? Probably jamaa anaamka asubuhi. And this guy normally watch on IG. Sijui mbona anasahau jina yake. Anakuanga na skincare routine. Mwenda. Yeah. Is it nani Mwenda? Something. Eli Mwenda. Bana, this guy uses like some very nice skincare routine. Lakini ukienda kwa comment section unakuta wanaume wakisema wewe. You get?
Yeah.
I think most guys don't understand that self-care is, it's like an all-rounded thing despite gender.
It's beyond the superficial things that we see. It's beyond applying chemicals to your body to feel nice.
Yeah, man.
Self-care, maybe let me start by definition. And self-care is the practice of taking intentional actions to maintain and improve your physical, mental, emotional well-being. So, physical, mental, emotional. And may I add also, if you may allow me, spiritual.
Exactly.
Because people neglect when it comes to taking care of yourself in matters spirituality.
Spiritual care.
Yeah, so it goes beyond taking care of your skin and your body.
And ideally, by the way, I think for me, do you do self-care yourself, by the way?
Yeah. I do self-care. I have my personal time that I've kept aside for me to just be silent. Just meditate and think about what has been happening around me, the things that are going on in my life, and all that. I may not take time to go and have a pedicure or manicure or have my nail fixed on all those superficial things or skincare routine, but I have that time that is set for me to kind of reflect on what is happening around me. Yeah, and I do that
on a regular
often.
basis.
Yeah.
Now, for me, the interesting thing about self-care is I never knew anything about self-care until 2022. Me, I never knew anything about self-care.
Yeah.
I literally actually thought that self-care is we bora ukule na utembe na ukunywe maji, that's enough. But it goes beyond all that.
Correct.
I have a funny way of self-care. Sija nataraingi kuambia watu hivi and sometimes they laugh.
Yeah.
On an occasional basis, naenda nachukua matatu za kwenda kwetu za Nyeri.
Yes.
Nachukua naenda hadi Tirum, get into a matatu, naingia kwa matatu 2NK, to be specific, 2NK shuttle. They're not noisy, nakaa mahali hapo nyuma. And then I probably put on some headphones. Muri, I will listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
By the time nafika Nyeri, I've listened to like a full podcast, learned something.
Yes.
Niende nipige shughuli, just a few. Niingie soko, because soko tuiko hapo tu. Buy a few things, then nichukue matatu nirudi tena.
Wow.
Like, I don't know how, but for me, I find it like, sometimes if you want to get out of the city, you don't have to get out of the city driving. Yeah, that's the mentality I normally have. Plus, I also look at one thing that has really come to help me is a gym.
Yes.
Gym nilijua 2022 after a serious heartbreak. Have you ever realized that most people go to the gym because of a heartbreak? Like, ask anyone in the gym.
Many things are fueled by a heartbreak. You know, when we do something out of passion, and it turns out to be a beautiful thing, it stems out of a very emotional part in your heart. It's either happiness or intense heartache. And intense heartache works more better than when you're happy. Because when you're happy, you'll be like, okay, I can do it or not do it. When you're heartbroken, you are doing it or doing it.
Of course.
That's why it works most of the time.
I remember when I started going to the gym after that serious heartbreak. Nilikuwa unaona ile unakuanga tu like udem ataona ile physique natoka nayo huko hivi.
Yeah.
By month 3 nikaanza kujiuliza, this thing is making me feel good. I started being productive.
Yes.
So like after 3 months usha heal, everything is okay, you're doing fine.
Yes.
Sasa nikajiuliza, sasa nitaacha gym. And it had to become like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
And for me, like basically going to the gym is something I refer to and take as self-care. Especially when you go to the gym and exercise a certain part of your body intensely.
Yes.
Like sometimes going to the gym is pushing your body beyond the normal limits.
Correct.
Like I also like to talk about self-care in terms of the food you eat. Nutrition.
Yeah.
You know, eat a lot of junk and a lot of weird things. And sometimes, you know, funny thing is that we don't understand that our bodies are very intelligent. Ukikula kitu mbaya, your body reacts in a certain way. Ukisikia mtu akisema ni acid sijui atiangao nasikia kutapika, then automatically you know that what you've put in your body is not what it wants. And I think at this point, so many people we don't eat for nutrition. We eat because we want to stay full. And
unakula ushibe.
Unakula ushibe. And that's why you find that a lot of people nowadays are struggling with lifestyle diseases. Like if you even go to hospitals, most of the patients there are there because of lifestyle diseases. Rarely will you go to a hospital ukute mtu mwenye who just eats food for nutritional purposes. Rarely will you find them there.
Yeah.
But so many people get to just ignore the nutritional aspect, like eating good food that your body needs for nourishment, not for you to stay full.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to another aspect of self-care, is mental self-care. Mental self-care, what do you do when you want to take care of yourself mentally? Your mind is an organ that needs regular exercise. You see how you go to the gym? Your mind does not the only thing that it does to your brain is to relax. But for it to be fully active and for it to grow, because your brain does not stop growing, it is the part of your body that continues growing until the day you stop exercising it. Continue feeding it with useful information. Read books. Go out there, learn something. That is how you take care of yourself in terms of what you're thinking. Because again, it's an organ that is growing, meaning it is increasing space. And if you don't fill that space with something useful, our brain has a mechanism of looking for junk everywhere. You see how you will eat to be full. Also, your brain will consume information somewhere for it to be full. Because now, again, an empty head, you know.
Use a devil's workshop.
Yeah, very precisely. And it is very much impossible for your brain to stay empty. You know, it's not all biological or anything. Watu wenye wamefanya science na neurosurgery msikuje saa hapa kuniambia stories za jaba, but from a social construct, that's how I know my brain is a continuous organ that grows daily. So if I don't fill that space with useful information, it will fill itself with junk. That's why unakaa tu hivi unapata idea sijui imetoka wapi. Look at the people who read books. Like if you read a book like Atomic Habits, you get information that if you continue to do a certain practice like 15 minutes a day for like the next 21 days, because it takes 21 days for something to become a habit. 21 continuous days for something to become a habit. So now that space that could have been occupied by junk is now occupied by something useful, knowing now if I continue to do something that is junky for the next 21 days, that will be a habit that will be very hard for me to quit. Now you're taking care of your brain as a form of self-care.
True.
Yeah.
And I think, by the way, I don't know how this, I don't really understand this. Probably you can expound it to me further. There's journaling.
Yeah, journaling.
One time I went to a hotel.
Yeah.
Nikaanza kuandika all the things that were in my head. And immediately, like, you feel good.
Yeah. It's a type of therapy where there are people who are not comfortable telling other people their own things. There are people who take therapy like, therapy is very good, but there are people who take it like telling a stranger your own personal things. There are people who don't like that. Why am I telling a stranger my own intimate personal things? You know, by all means, no one should be knowing these things. So journaling is a form of therapy. When you write something down, I think there is power in writing.
Yeah, writing is probably one of the most underestimated and the most important skills.
Yes.
Because if it was not for written material, we wouldn't have things like even the Bible.
Exactly. There is power in writing. One thing, you store information. Another thing, it's a way of downloading it. You see? How do I even put
it? Uploading what is, like writing is like you uploading your thoughts in paper.
Yeah, in paper. So that it can create another space for you to digest something else. Most of the time, we write...
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
Most of it, because now it has... You see how a memory card works. If your hard disk is full, you get another new hard disk. And you transfer that piece of footage to that new hard disk. You have created a new space in that old hard disk that can accommodate new information. Right? Anytime you want to refer to that other piece of information, you'll go to the new hard disk, check out the information that you copied, and it will still be useful. Now, when you want to think about something else and you have things that are bothering you, write them down. Zitaacha kukusumbua, and you'll be focusing on something else. Journaling is one of the most important and most efficient way of therapy, and people don't really know it. Write it down. It feels, the time that you'll take writing down is most probably equivalent to the time that you would have looked for a person, mkalishe chini, then muongee hizo vitu mpaka ziishi. But now, at this time, when you're journaling, you have the opportunity to address the past you, the present you, and the future you. When you're talking to someone, that journey of, first of all, addressing the past you, it might take a day, 2 sessions, whatever, dealing with the root cause of something. Another 2 days dealing with the present you, and another 2 days of projecting. When you're journaling, you can sit down and write. Now, this and this and this and this has been troubling me for the last 2 years. Unaandika hiyo, unamaliza page moja. Now, this is where I am as a person. I'm dealing with this and this and this and this and this and this. Now, this is where I want to be. It has taken you maybe an hour to write all those things, but it gives you even a solid space to, like, when you want to look at how much you've grown, you have a space to go and look. Now, I wrote this and this and this. Have I stopped the things that were troubling me in the past? How is my present looking like? And how are my future projections? As opposed to therapy, huwezi enda kuuliza therapist, by the way,
what progress have I made?
Thank you. So journaling,
I think, I like the fact that you've mentioned that journaling is quite important, by the way.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that I think it's something I also need to cultivate myself.
Yes.
I realize the more, like, you wake up in the morning and you put your thoughts down, you write them down.
Yes.
You can even use probably apps to write what is it that is in your head. Like, just write it down. It's a form of self-care. No,
for instance, before we continue in that aspect of journaling, in my small space, I have a black wall sticker, like a blackboard, and pieces of chalk. When I want to write something that is, it wouldn't be a permanent idea, just want to be seeing it there for the sake of ideation, I just write it with a chalk. I have a black wall, so if there is something that I'm thinking of, or this something I want to manifest for the next maybe 1 month, just for 1 month, then delete it. I write it on that black wall. I also have what do we call it? This whiteboard.
A whiteboard.
Unaweza andika na mark pen, then delete. I wake up in the morning when I'm in the mood, write a quote that will drive me for that 1 month and put it somewhere. Yeah. When it comes now to other things like ideation, I have 1,000,001 sticky notes. I like writing. Like, andika sticky note, iweke tu hapo. It will be reminding you, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that and that and that. And it's a form of you offloading. Once you write it, you'll be able to think of other things.
I also think, by the way, like, journaling itself can allow you to just have better cognitive abilities.
Yeah.
You realize when you have a lot of junk in your head, you don't know how to sift through it.
Yes.
Someone asks you something and you're like, by the way, alisema nini. But I came to realize, like, if you write something down, it's easy for you to even remember it.
Correct.
So if it's something that was affecting you previously, like, it's easy for you to even remember. Like, you can even say, okay, give me a minute. I wrote this over here.
Yes.
So I think journaling is another important aspect. Let's talk about the aspect of socialization when it comes to self-care.
Yeah.
Friendships, especially good friendships.
Yeah, very important.
One thing I've come to realize is that nowadays most Gen Zs are actually very introverted. despite the fact that most of us are born extroverted, where you're supposed to be socializing with people.
Correct.
I realized that a good form of self-care is talking to people, going out on dates. I mean, on a frequent basis, not to go out on dates to have sex with people, but to create meaningful relationships. They're the feel-good hormones.
Yes.
Is it endorphin, serotonin,
dopamine?
All these hormones, by the way. I'm not very sure. I don't like in as much as we talk about dopamine, I don't like that hormone anyway.
It's a very dangerous name.
Dopamine, man. I don't know why we were given like dopamine. And I was reading something yesterday.
But it's the ultimate feel-good hormone.
And like yesterday I was reading something. It's called delayed gratification. Let me give you an example of delayed gratification.
Yeah.
So you've decided that you want to eat chicken today evening, right? You are working in Westlands or probably in the CBD.
Yes.
You can buy chicken huko na ufeel vizuri. But you're like, apana, nitangoja mpaka jioni. Have you ever realized that before, that's delayed gratification mpaka jioni?
Yes.
So from the whole day, you're going to stay motivated. Like, I tend to think that we now need to start thinking of dopamine as like a motivation hormone.
Yes.
Or anticipation hormone.
Because one thing, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah. Like, you realize that you will be very productive that day because, at the end of the day, there's a reward. Like, if it's telling someone, like, you start creating content right now. And I promise you, after 3 years, I will give you $1 million.
Yes. Aye, my friend.
Mtu ata create content.
Hey,
they will create, and then by the time the 3 years in a hit, they are like, no, I don't want to stop.
It's the same feeling of going home to a wife who doesn't really disturb your head.
Unaraha tu.
You're looking forward, like the whole day you've been teasing each other on things. Nikikuja home, nini. When you come home, all those things. So it builds anticipation. Yeah.
So I came to realize sometimes, like, nowadays I'm reading books on productivity as well as understanding human psychology. Because to an extent, I don't think we really get to understand human anatomy as it is.
Yeah.
So, like, I've been looking at things relating to dopamine hormones, relating to the human brain.
Yes.
I was trying to understand how, things like neurons. Like, I was reading things about the brain and I'm like, what in the hell? How does a human brain become, like, there's something called the prefrontal cortex. This one, it matures as you grow.
Yes.
It's the one that, like, for example, if you're about to make a stupid decision, it like tells you, hey, brother, man, what kind of, and then there is another part of your brain that is telling you, hey, Buddha, boss, why are you wasting time? Twende bana, why? Like, you get, then there is the like, as you grow older, at 24, probably used to make very stupid decisions. 23, because your prefrontal cortex has not
grown fully.
But at 28 you're like, hey, wait a minute.
Unajua kuna vitu zingine tena.
You realize that at 28 ndo hapo watu wanaanza kusema ati unaniitia pombe hapana.
My friend.
That's when you start realizing the things, life as it is. So as part of self-care, I think, for me, I think that it's a high time for people to actually get to prioritize self-care on a general basis. I like to put this in perspective. Let's talk about the role of technology.
Yes.
Because I tend to think that technology has really affected people's self-care.
Yeah.
Consuming a lot of garbage in terms of content on social media.
We have talked more than one times how to do a good digital detox. And one thing about you not taking care of how much time you're spending online can be very detrimental when it comes to the health of your brain. When you don't take a keen note on the amount of things that you're consuming online and the amount of hours that you're spending on your phone, on your computer, on your laptop, or whatever gadget that connects to the digital world, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter kama utatupea excuse ulikuwa una learn skill ama ulikuwa unafanya nini, it will rob a very important time. Number one, it will take away the time that you're supposed to be socializing, and we have said socializing is a way of self-care. Number two, it will take away a very important time that is called sleeping time. By the way, I'm a victim of this, and it's something that I'm trying to also learn, because most of the time, when it comes to even working and all that, because of the nature of my work, I tend to like extend my working hours that eat up to the time that I'm supposed to be sleeping. Sleeping is very important. Sleeping does not mean you're lazy. you know. And there was a time we had a bone to chew with people because I'm waking up at saa sita za usiku za mchana but mi nililala 5 wewe ukiamka. You know that difference, but again, you know, it interrupts the normal functionality on how you plan your day because now your days will be unpredictable because number one, the time that you're supposed to be sleeping, you're working. The time that you're supposed to be active and socializing with people, because again, for you to socialize, you must go out there and meet people when they are available. They are available when you are not available. And you are available when they are not available.
You are available when they are not available.
Exactly. Sasa ukikuwa wewe ni mtu wa usiku sako, the people that you're supposed to socialize with, like uwezi weka time ya family and friends ikuwe usiku wa manane. What kind of a person are you? You know, so it ate up into that aspect, and I'm speaking from personal experience. Nikakuta kuna time imefika I've become a lonely person because again I'm too immersed. Na si kupenda kwangu. Ni job vile inataka.
Ni kazi venye.
Kwa sababu I'm working at night, I'm sleeping during the day where ideally I should be out making plans and meeting people. So I had to kind of have a plan and know now, instead of working the whole night, I can balance myself and know, hey, hizi kazi zenye nachukua zenye zina demand for me to work the whole night, let me sacrifice the money to some extent and build these relationships with the people that really matter. You know, organizing for dates with friends, people that are close to us, loved ones, even family. And it all stemmed by the so-called digital detox, because I have detoxified from my work that is fully digital, and I've taken my time to be socializing with people that really matter.
Hiyo kwanza story ya kunini putting your phone aside and remembering that watu wako is quite important.
Yes.
Because like one important aspect of self-care is cutting out social media garbage.
Yes.
I like to call it social media garbage because you find that there's a lot of content that you should not be consuming. Let me give you an example of self-care that can probably work for anyone.
Yeah.
Stop scrolling at night. When it comes, it's time for you to sleep.
Yeah.
Weka simu yako mbali. I used to worry like sometimes back at if I don't sleep with my phone in my bedroom, someone is going to call me and I'll not hear. And then no one has ever called me. No one has ever called. But you're always in your head like, but you know the reason as to why you don't want to sleep away from your phone? Because when you feel bored at night, you will take it.
Yes.
I once told a guy, if you struggle with phone addiction, smartphone addiction, enda utafute jirani yako mwenye ako 8th floor. Mpatie simu, we rudi kwa nyumba. I'm telling you will think until you sleep.
Yeah.
Because you have no other option. Like, you know, kitambo tulikuwa tunalala. Si ati juu tunataka kulala. Ni juu hatuna option. There's nothing to distract us.
Yeah.
Unajua umefukuzwa huwezi ona wrestling. Umesoma gazeti zote ziko kwa hiyo nyumba. Umesoma vitabu zote. You don't have a smartphone.
Correct.
So what will you do? You go and think until you sleep.
Yeah. You cultivate the sleep.
You get. And I realized, by the way, you know, so many adults today, let me not lie, most adults suffer from insomnia.
Very true.
Do you know, by the mere fact that you have your smartphone in your bedroom, that immediately disrupts your sleep?
Yes.
Immediately.
Yes, sir.
Because you're like in your head, but kuna TikTok fulani ilicheki.
Yeah.
But when you're in your bed na unakumbuka simu iko sitting room, you're like, It's the same way, like, for example, like take this analogy. Unashuku hujafunga mlango ya nyumba na ushalala. Na uko like, ina venye kuna joto.
Yeah.
So you're like, Mungu wako. Wewe wacha nini? So put your phone away. Like someone was even saying, if you can, put it completely away from your bedroom.
Yes.
Have a book. Yeah. Have just a book. Something that you can read.
Yes.
And I'm telling you will probably have the best sleep ever.
By the way, you know, books are one of the most effective sleep-inducing pills. Because your brain somehow is built, I don't know how, people in the comment section can tell us, but your brain is somehow built to rebel good things.
Of course.
And it makes it very hard for you to concentrate when something good, like, and I think I know why. Hakuna dawa tamu.
Hakuna.
So when medicine is
it's bad.
It is being, kitu ya kwanza, one way of inducing medicine ni kumeza. Unameza inaitagwa nini? Capsule, inaonja venye inataka.
na inafanya kazi.
Yes, the other way ni kudungwa sindano is not comfortable, but at the end of the day it will bring a solution. Kuna dawa hizi sweet medicine, unamezanga paracetamol kama 500 na huponi. Unaletewa kidawa kingine kichungu, sijui kimeundwa na moringa, sijui nini, unameza moja,
works like a charm.
It will torment you before it goes down, but you will know this one. Same way with books. The uploading information very difficult. So ukitaka kulala haraka, chukua kitabu.
Nilikwambia nilisoma kitabu inaitwa Confessions of Nairobi Men.
Yo.
Wewe nani alikuwa na hiyo kitabu?
Iko na Mengos.
Umesoma?
Hey, boss.
You know that book, I read it in 2 days. Hey. I read that book in 2 days.
Hey.
Nilibuy, I took it in textbook center.
Yes.
Nikakaa kwa nyumba.
Yeah.
Hapo tu penye umekaa.
Yeah.
Nikasoma 85 pages. Trauma.
Nyinyi watu, I think I need one ounce of the strength that you guys have, because I read chapter 1 and that was it with me and that book. Nikasema, hey,
but
it's a wrap. The other stories venye kiliwafanyikia, Mungu awarehemu, but I don't want to know.
Endeleeni kushenyenta.
I know, like it tormented me. That book tormented me. The first chapter. Hey, I think I'm emotionally fragile on that side.
Now let me tell you one funny thing about me. When a book is not interesting to read, that is what I want to read. Now the funny thing about me is pia mimi sipendi horror movies. Honestly, I don't like horror movies.
Yes.
Like jana nilikuwa napitia Netflix, nikaona wameweka billboard fulani hapo hivyo. Like these featured movies. It's about a movie like a TV show that was live. Mimi sikuwa najua ati ni horror, si nika preview. Buddha. Immediately napiga round kwa nyumba ku confirm, hey, by the way,
niko peke yangu.
You get me?
Yeah.
I'm that person who also likes to read books that, for example, like people don't like reading. Like there's a conflict with the book The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene.
Yeah.
It's labeled toxic and everything. And I remember I once saw Moshiri Mike create a video of it, and I was like, I think I now need to read this book. Yeah. And reading like in your confessions of, hey,
it's a very dangerous book. Mimi I won't lie to you.
Na juzi nikiwa bookshop nikaona ingine Confessions of Nairobi Women now.
I can't touch those books again.
2 books.
There are 2 books.
Women have a lot to say anyway. Zile vitu wameonyeshwa in Nairobi na Luo na Walu. Wakikuyu.
I think mimi sina hiyo nguvu. Let me just be honest with people. Mimi sina hiyo nguvu. The 48 books of the 48 Laws of Power. For me, I don't think it's a bad book. You have just to put it in the right context, because that book explains how money works. It's money. When you get it in the context of money, and not just getting it from a context of egocentric people and people who want to be worshipped and all that, but that's basically how money works.
Mindset. I think you need to change your mindset before you read the book.
Yeah.
So I think as we wrap up about self-care, for me I would say self-care is important for each and every person.
Yes.
And self-care is not only there are so many other things that you can do for self-care. Like I always tell Jamas, by the way, you can have a spa day for yourself.
Look nice.
Ndio utengenezwe kucha bana, wacha kukaa mwizi, yeah? Ti unaenda watu ukioshwa mikono hadi waiter anakuuliza, hey guy, you get, I was shocked to see that there is manicure and pedicure for Jamas.
Yes.
Buddha mimi niko like ati ananiambia manicure, I'm like hapana, staki ni kazi. You know, in my head I thought ni kupakwa cutex. Hizo vitu za kupakwa. Kumbe kuna venye unaenda unafanya unatengenezwa tu vitu. It looks good. And even your face, you can get some good, take care of yourself, go to the gym.
And again, you know, you can look good, but your toenails will always humble you.
Bwana. Enyewe ukitoa viatu mtu you know, I once had a chick who was like saying ati there was these shows zilikuwa zinakuja Ebru TV. Ati she likes to look at guys easy na toenails ati anakuta it's true. Ati and socks ati mtu ati like if a guy has neat socks, you know, socks are the most underestimated clothing in your body. Like if a guy comes to your house na ucheki socks zake bana,
director anajishow
unakuta moja ina smile ni kama iko jela inatry kuangalia huko nje. Or like for example you're like someone was saying that guys who normalize taking care of the
fingernails,
easy kucha, like if you know how to cut them and trim them, it's like a very good, it's pointers. And pia mse anajua kunyoa.
Yeah.
Kunyoa is like people underestimate a good shave.
Yeah.
And it's not really expensive. You just go do a good shave. And then for me, I think the most important thing about self-care is hapa.
Yeah. Brewing.
Hapa kuna mtu wako ni msafi lakini akianza kuongea you are like hey, we nyamaza. Umeshenyenta sana. Have
you ever seen a very shiny apple but ukiuma ndani ni mahobo?
Unashangaa how
it's not crunchy. An apple that is not crunchy,
unauma tu hivi unashangaa you get
ni kiunga ndani. Yeah, that's how now when you take care of yourself outwardly but inwardly you're not taking care of yourself.
There's a Bible verse. I think was it Jesus who was preaching about how we concentrate on the yeah, right?
Yeah, unaosha kikombe nje ndani is a bit quagmire.
Ndani iko very quagmire. Like if you are given a chance to study people from the inside,
yes,
ujue ndani zao, chawa zao, you'll be shocked.
Yeah.
Because I think most people don't invest in this.
The inside, yeah.
Like evening hours, there's one thing people don't understand about our bodies.
Yes.
We follow something called the circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
Where you're supposed to jioni, you should not be exposed to a lot of light. That particular period is not for you to just continue streaming and watching nini. Like it's wrong.
Yeah.
The thing you should be doing is preparing to sleep.
Yes.
Ili by 5. You know, normally if you try to follow the circadian rhythm, you're going to be shocked that your body is programmed like you don't even need a clock. Kuna time itafika hivi and you're up.
Yeah.
Because you follow a certain system. Why do you think birds? Umaisikia bird inaamka saa 8? Ati ndio inaamka.
But recently you might take this as a joke, but I laughed yangu ya mwisho. Niliona jogo time economy ilikuwa mbaya. Ilikuwa inawika saa 9 mchana.
Yeah?
Mchana. And I was like, yo,
is this bad?
I even made a video about it. I think it was in 20. I don't know whether it is my current account ya TikTok or my old account. I was so inaitangwa nini? Kushtuka. Ni juu sijaisikia kuku inawika with that passion. Mchana.
I
was like, yo, kwani kumeharibika aje?
During December, kuna jirani alileta jogoo hapa. Alikuwa anataka kuchinja. But hiyo jogoo ilikuwa kwa balcony. So ilikaa for 1 week. I'm telling you the day hiyo jogoo ilichinjwa I felt bad. Ilikuwa inaniamsha every single day. 5 AM challenge. Ilikuwa inaniamsha hiyo masaa. And honestly by the way like
alikuwa ameitoa ushago
aje. Mazi. Labda hakuwa anajua kuichinja, hakuwa anajua where to start.
Kama alikuwa ameitoa ushago basi jogoo wa shamba aliwika mjini. aliwika mjini. So now another aspect as we wind up is take care of yourself spiritually.
There's something director was saying, the power of no.
Yeah, the
saying
power of
no.
Yeah. The power of saying no actually. When you refuse to indulge in other things and say no and not feel guilty about it, like wase wanaenda dunda who feel your story because it is detrimental to you, say no and feel good about it. It's a form of taking care of yourself because you know now if I go to that dunda I'm spending beyond something that I had not budgeted for. Number 2, I might find myself in a situation yenye I don't want to be. I might take drugs, not because of me, because of the peer pressure that I have, because of the loyalty to friendship. There are some bullshit that we do as people, as humans, because of loyalty to friendship. I don't staki kuangusha Elvis. Elvis mia anajua mimi ni G. So kama Elvis anafanyanga mambo yake hapa chini ya maji, hata mimi nitamuonyesha kuna venye hata mimi ni OG. So hata mimi nijipate kwa hiyo mix. What if I said no and I told just Elvis, unajua ni aje? Niko na mambo zangu nafanya. I appreciate the invite but adios muchacho.
Hiyo story yako sidai.
Yeah. Uenda ujibambe maybe some other time. Not even maybe some other time. Just say hiyo nini I'm not
peace.
Yeah.
I think majority of us are people pleasers.
That's the thing.
And people pleasing itself first of all leads to also very bad mental health. because you please people, engage in illicit behavior, engage in and get into toxic relationships with friends, and get into toxic friendships in the name of pleasing people. But internally, you're not happy.
Yeah.
That is why people rush to church. They rush to church because you've been so used to people pleasing that you now think that you can even go to church again to meet more people.
Yeah.
And, there's this whole ideology that you go to meet the holiest people in church.
They are the same people in the marketplace. What do you see?
Soko ni ile ile.
Soko ni ile ile.
And I tend to think that the power of saying no is like a huge advantage to people.
Yes.
Like there are so many people who are ashamed of saying no. I'll not do that. Thanks. You get me?
Yeah.
Like mi ukiniambia like someone comes and tells you stop editing a video, mwende sherehe. Brother, kuna madem fulani wamekam. Twende sherehe. You get? Like you tell someone no, and then there's this aspect of people now. When you tell people no, wajua wanasemanga unafanya nini? Unaringa. You get me?
By the way, kama ujaambia unaringa, just know you're not working on yourself properly.
Exactly. Self-care is, I heard Eliud Kipchoge in a certain podcast saying something about vitamin N.
Vitamin N.
Yeah.
No.
The power of saying no. And by the way, no is going to set you on a lonely path, but it's going to set you on a straight path. Not only to get, you don't even need quantity friends. You need quality friends. Likuwa kuongelesha about story ya harusi. Harusi niliona hapa iko na watu kama 25-30.
Very elegant.
A very simple wedding, and enyewe hapo kama ukuna pesa utasema ni maringo. You get me?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a story for another day, but I tend to think self-care is universal. Everyone needs to start taking care of themselves, consume the right content, read books. I think this is one of the things, and even learn more.
Yes.
I was reading the Business Daily today. There was a quote hapo mwisho ilikuwa inasema, if something bothers you so much, learn more about it.
Yeah.
Like if you're so worried about death, go and understand it. You'll stop being afraid of it.
That's it.
Like most of the time we are afraid of things just because we don't know about them. Like kasa hii, you'll hear someone saying about sijui nini, the government is going to collapse, and you start being afraid. Why don't you learn more about it?
How the government works.
Yes.
Now what it takes actually for a government to collapse.
Yeah. Ideally, have you ever realized that like when you were starting this podcast, we were so afraid?
Yeah.
Kai, tutafikisha 100 subscribers
kweli.
And then as we move on, we are like it's normal. It's normal things. Like even when I was starting content creation, you're afraid of bullies. But at the end of the day, you're like, kasonge kakisonga. For me, self-care is very important. Take care of yourself. If you're a lady, if you're a man, the most important thing that you can actually do is take care of everything that either you consume, whether it's food, whether it's content, whether it's books, whether it's articles, and watch the people that you surround yourself with. Self-care is important.
Yeah, as I wind up, also make things right with your God. Above all, make things right with your God. You don't exist here just because you exist, So be a person of prayer. Be a person who does good to people. Because again, you'll never see God with a basket of blessing coming to you. He'll always send someone.
True.
So be good to people and make it right with your God. So that's the EE PowerTalk. My name is Daddy Blessing. See you in the next one.
My name is Elvis. See you in the next one.